Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do?
I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault. A new series streaming now only on Peacock.
This episode is brought to you by Blink. Blink Friday starts now with up to 65% off Blink Smart Security. Check on your pets all season long with new Blink Mini 2K Plus cameras. See your gifts arrive in head-to-toe view with Blink Video Doorbell. Ready to use right out of the box. Just unwrap Blink and go. From pet parents to jet setters to busy families, Blink Friday deals have your holidays covered. Shop now at Amazon.com/Blink.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, President Trump saying that everybody who came into the United States through this, quote, parole program, and it's about 70,000 plus Afghans that were brought here. They were supposed to be here for 2 years, and it was after Joe Biden's dismal withdrawal from Afghanistan. Joe Biden, his White House said, okay, we're going to grant them a 2-year parole. And now one of them who came to the United States to flee terrorism has been accused of opening fire on 2 National Guards troops in D.C. And just a little bit ago, here is the executive assistant police chief there in D.C. talking about how this all went down.
At approximately 2:15 this afternoon, members of the D.C. National Guard were on high visibility patrols in the area of 17th and I Street Northwest when a suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members. The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring them into custody. Within moments, members of law enforcement in the area were also able to assist and bring that individual into custody. At this time, as the director mentioned, the National Guard members are being treated at a local hospital. D.C. Fire and EMS responded to the scene to provide first aid for those individuals and transport them to a local hospital. The suspect in this case was also transported for treatment at a local hospital.
And those 2 officers, I just looked at some images of fellow National Guards members. These 2 were from West Virginia, but fellow Guards members praying inside the hospital there in D.C. It's very emotional. I'm a bit emotional after seeing this scene of these officers just holding hands, praying that these 2 National Guards troops survive, because they are both in very critical condition. They were both ambushed, point blank range. This guy opened fire, shooting at least one of them in the head. And then, unfortunately, luckily, another National Guards member was nearby and was able to take the guy down. Then, as you heard, and there are images all over social media, you could see the guy was stripped naked. And as you heard from Betsy Brantner Smith, they were trying to make sure that there were no explosives on the guy, that he wasn't, planning to detonate himself when authorities came by. You have to worry about a lot of this stuff, especially now that we're hearing that he had some military background. And then also, how did he come here? Apparently, he's from the West Coast. So what was he doing in D.C.? Was it specifically to go after the National Guard because of all the horrible vitriol that we've heard from many Democratic politicians? I am furious tonight, and I think all of us should be. Here is Congressman Buddy Carter from Georgia. He's a Republican, and he says that many Democrats tonight have blood on their hands after this shooting.
Well, we should react because, let's face it, the left-wing politicians, I should say, they have blood on their hands. I mean, when Lisa Stockton makes a statement like this and then later follows it by saying that she encourages the military not to listen to their commander-in-chief, when John Ossoff calls troops being in Washington, D.C. an embarrassment, when Abigail Spanberger says, let rage fuel you, those comments have an effect. And that's why the left-wing politicians have blood on their hands. It results in the kind of things that we're seeing right here tonight. Every opportunity I have when I'm in Washington, D.C., when I see a National Guardsman, I thank them for being there. They have made Washington a place where I'm proud to be anymore. It is so nice to be able to walk around and not be in fear and not be harassed. And I appreciate them being there. I appreciate our president recognizing the fact that it needed to be addressed, and we did need more help in Washington, D.C., and we need it in other cities as well.
And earlier today, right when the shooting broke out, I had with me on the air on Katz and Cosby, with me and John Catsimatidis, we talked to Congressman Randy Fine from the state of Florida. And this was his assessment of what a dangerous period this country is now in.
Well, I'm enraged. I'm angry. I'm trying to understand what happened. But I think we've fallen so far in this country where someone could think it was a good idea to bring a gun near the White House and shoot National Guardsmen. I mean, our country has fallen so far that we're going to have deep structural problems that we're going to have to deal with here. And we'll wait to see who it is. I have my suspicions based on the pictures I've seen, but no matter who did it, we've got real problems we've got to address, particularly because the Democrats have basically declared open season on people who do this for a living. And I think that's something we all have to be very upset about.
And here's a little more from Congressman Randy Fine.
I understand Democrats have become the enemy of the state. You had 6 of them call for an insurrection against our government. They attack ICE, who, again, ICE is simply trying to round up people who are not supposed to be in this country. They should have gone home on their own. If they haven't, they should be rounded up and deported. So these are people who hate the United States, hate the rule of law, and then these sorts of things happen. And we're going to have to say as a country, are we willing to put up with it? I know as for me, I am not, and we are going to put it down.
And we have to put it down. It can't get much worse. It may. And sadly, we've got a lot of progressive leaders in this country. We're about to have Zohran Mamdani in New York and then Katie Wilson in Seattle. And there are other progressives who say, no, we're not going to have the NYPD cooperate with ICE. They're criticizing, for example, Zohran Mamdani, criticizing Netanyahu, Jewish establishments. He was blaming the synagogue the other day that had protesters outside that were protesting and shouting and telling the citizens inside the synagogue that they should be afraid. And he was mad. He said the synagogue shouldn't have been gathering. What they're talking about is basically improper, supporting Israel. That's scary stuff. We're on a very, very difficult path, you guys. And here is Congresswoman Maxine Dexter. You have to hear what she said about the National Guard not that long ago. And you wonder, when you hear this kind of vitriol, no wonder, sadly, people react.
Maxine Dexter, Oregon's 3rd, checking in after what I would say is an indefensible ruling by the Ninth Circuit that opens the door to National Guard troops being deployed in our peaceful city. Let's just be clear. Portland is not lawless. We have been extraordinary in our resistance to Donald Trump's fairy tale about our city. We have remained peaceful, persistent, and clear that we do not bend the knee to Donald Trump and his wannabe kingmanship. And we will continue to be so. This ruling must be challenged, and we must remain steadfast in our peaceful resistance to Donald Trump, the tyranny he is trying to take onto our cities and across this country, and what I would say is an extraordinarily dangerous precedent by militarizing our city and moving towards a dictatorship. We will be united. We will remain peaceful. I was just in D.C. trying to work out how we were going to get out of this government shutdown, and I'm heading back to Portland now so I can be with you tomorrow. Let's continue to stay loud, stay peaceful, and I'll see you soon.
Well, they're a threat to democracy. They're tyrannical. they're dangerous, and you wonder why someone who might be a little askew doesn't take the bait. And not to be outdone, here's J.B. Pritzker. Listen to what he said about the deployment of the National Guard and his twisted theory. This was just a few days ago. This is, of course, the governor of Illinois.
Other than fighting crime. That's the first thing they should understand. The second is it's an attack on the American people by the President of the United States. Now, he may disagree with a state that didn't vote for him, but should he be sending troops in? No.
You said he has other aims. What are the other aims?
The other aims are that he'd like to stop the elections in 2026 or, frankly, take control of those elections.
He would like to take control of the elections, and the National Guard coming in is part of this master anti-American plan, if you will. And then you have a crazy person like this deranged gunman who came to America during Joe Biden's disastrous withdrawal. And boy, we knew that that was going to happen, that there would be some bad folks who would get in because they didn't have a chance to vet him. They came in so quickly. There's just no physical way you could vet him. And Joe Biden didn't want to vet him. Doesn't seem like he vetted anybody. Just ask Alejandro Mayorkas. And tonight, our former president, Mr. Otto Penn, here's what he put out just a little bit ago, which I think is actually pretty disgraceful because tonight I'm quite angry at Joe Biden's open border policies. The way he pulled out of Afghanistan was a complete disaster. No vetting, throwing all these people on. I remember talking to all of you when it was going down, and I said, there's no way they're going to check these people. And there are so many bad folks in Afghanistan. I have been there. I have seen them. I am telling you, this is a hotbed of terrorism around the globe. And Joe Biden just threw him on a plane and said, here, you can stay in America for 2 years. And that was 2021. Guess what? That guy was still here. How many more are still here? And here's Joe Biden tonight. Jill Biden and I are heartbroken that 2 members of the National Guard were shot outside the White House. Violence of any kind is unacceptable, and we must all stand united against it. We're praying for the service members and their families. That's from Joe Biden. How come he's not speaking out when his fellow Democrats have been calling President Trump the National Guard and ICE Nazis, Gestapo? He's not doing it because guess what? He was doing it himself. He was the one who was saying that President Trump is a threat to democracy. He was the one who was saying, I shouldn't be coming in and rounding up these people. Let's have the murderers and killers and the terrorists just stay in America. How is that for national security, Joe Biden? Let's go to Joaquin on line 3. Go ahead, Joaquin. I am furious tonight.
Good evening, Rita. Before I go on my tirade, and maybe have to put a disclaimer in, I want to wish you kind of happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a lot to be thankful for, and it starts with our men and women in uniform.
Yes, it does. As a matter of fact, my niece is a sergeant major in the Army National Guard, so.
Oh, beautiful.
Anyway, you know something, and you did make me laugh when you said my parents would beat me silly.
Yeah, it's true. By the way, I meant it. My dad would have been like, little Rita, come on over here. Don't you? I mean, there would be no gray. That was that because guess what? I grew up in a home where we loved America and appreciated people in uniform and respected them.
All right. Well, now here goes my tirade. I'm sorry to say, but when it comes to Muslims, they're not radicalized. Islam is a radical religion in and of itself. And the good Muslims, that there are some, they are far and few in between, and they are actually the radicals in that religion. And we are being taken over. And you can see it whenever you go on social media. Basically, Australia, United Kingdom, and France, all of Europe, except for a few countries like Poland that has kept the Muslims out of their country, they don't have these problems, okay? And so until we face the facts about this, we're going to have a problem. I'm also getting really tired of, I don't care if we're divided anymore, because the people I'm divided against, they don't care about America. They don't want to be Americans anymore, And I believe that we have a great country here, and we're going to have to preserve this. And unfortunately, it's going to have to get downright dirty because these people all have to be deported. And, when you talk about that they work with our special forces, well, even, the ones that work with our military, in their own countries, they have their own tribes, their own sects and everything like that they're at war with, and it may benefit them. But at the end of the day, they still have the same ideals. So these people are not radicalized. This is exactly what they are. And, And then when it comes down to the high road, well, you know something, when Obama came into office, and this goes back to Obama, he cleared house. He cleared everybody out that was not part of his agenda, and he installed people into every single facet of the government that was on his page. And for some reason, we don't do that on our side. I wish that I could run for president, but I'm just a poor, average, everyday, ordinary guy because, believe me, I would get in there and I would clean house, and I'm sorry, I would be laying down the law.
By the way, Joaquin, I wish you could. You never know. I'm telling you, you never know. Never say never, because you often have so many great ideas, and you obviously love this country and appreciate this country and care about this country. And, you brought up about Muslims. I have friends who are Muslim. I consider them peaceful Muslims. They're not Islamists. And I know you and I have gone back and forth on this. To me, there's a big difference between someone who, supports Islam, preaches Islam, and someone who's an Islamist, like a fanatic. And sadly, we're seeing a lot of these fanatics of late. And that's the trouble, too. The trouble is, you look at this moment where it seems like a lot of politicians will not rein these people in, or other fanatics of whatever religion. They are not reining them in. And clearly there are a lot of individuals, and you're right, there are a lot of Islamists that are in this country that wish to do us harm. And that's the scary thing. It makes me wonder after today how many more are in here that we just don't know, sort of sleeper cells, if you will. That is a really troubling thought. Joaquin, thank you very much. And most importantly, like you said, happy Thanksgiving. 1-800-848-9222. We'll continue after the break.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. Jay Kelly, the new film from Academy Award nominee Noah Baumbach. George Clooney stars as an actor confronting his past and present on a journey of self-discovery, alongside Adam Sandler as his devoted manager. Critics are calling it a declaration of love to the chaotic art of filmmaking, with the Wall Street Journal praising it as a transcendent comedy drama. Jay Kelly is now playing in select theaters and on Netflix December 5th.
Say hello to the all-new Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do so much more for you. Need tickets to see your favorite artist? Craving your comfort restaurant? Just sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. It learns your style, anticipates what's next, and makes it happen across Echo, Fire TV, and more. Learn more at Amazon.com/new Alexa.
Every successful business evolves. And to keep up, you need a bank relationship that evolves too. When you collaborate with KeyBank, you don't get one-size-fits-all solutions. Our expansive team of experts across industry verticals wouldn't be here if you did. Always ready with bespoke solutions for your biggest challenges and opportunities. We know all businesses are different, and that's why we approach business differently. Reimagine business as usual. KeyBank opens doors. Learn more at key.com/B2B.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
Well, we need a little happy music. It is on the verge of Thanksgiving, just minutes away. Sadly, what a difficult day it has been in America. And some more breaking news just coming in that the U.S. government has suspended all Afghanistan immigration applications, courtesy of what just happened with this gunman. So what are your thoughts about that? President Trump saying we will not allow this. Let's go to Norm in Brooklyn, line 5. Go ahead, Norm, your thoughts.
Hi, Rita. Yes, today I was, while returning from the funeral of a friend of mine who is a Vietnam veteran, and his name is Bill Saloni, a longtime friend of mine, and I was feeling pretty somber about that, but I was in a room of patriots. They had a naval color guard, and it was beautiful. Well, anyway, while returning from that, Sandra called me and let me know about the National Guardsmen who were shot in Washington.
It's so heartbreaking. And Norm, I just want to first say also, Bill Solani, I think you said was his name. Welcome home, and thank you to all our Vietnam veterans, Norm.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Every leap in American history has needed breakthrough energy.
Ignition, liftoff.
Now, AI is here, and Chevron is working to power it. We're aiming to develop multi-gigawatt power plants near data centers, designed with future pathways to lower carbon intensity. AI gets the power it needs, communities get the jobs, and the grid stays strong. Powering AI today builds America's next superpower.
And now, a message from McAfee.
Your package couldn't be delivered.
You owe thousands in unpaid tolls.
You want a free gift.
If texts like these sound familiar, McAfee can help. McAfee automatically identifies text and email scams as well as AI-generated audio to help you stay safe. If they're faking it, they're not making it past us. Get award-winning scam detection today. McAfee.com/keepitreal.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana. Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... there, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
Rita Cosby is on.
And everybody, we are on the verge of Thanksgiving. Even though it has been a very difficult day in America, we all have so much to be thankful for. And I love being with all of you as we are leading into this beautiful holiday. And this holiday season, help the Red Apple Audio Networks feed those in need. Go to redappleaudionetwork.com/turkey and join Red Apple Audio Network's AARP New York City, the Police Athletic League, Gristedes and D'Agostino Supermarkets, and nationwide imaging services as we deliver holiday meals to more than 5,000 families across the city. So simply go to redappleaudionetwork.com/turkey. That is redappleaudionetwork.com/turkey. And everybody, I hope you have a beautiful and safe Thanksgiving. We are talking, of course, about this terrible shooting that took place of the 2 National Guardsmen in the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. And a lot of people are pointing the finger at a lot of the rhetoric that we have seen. And the incendiary attacks. The Department of Homeland Security is saying that there has been a 1,000% plus increase of violence against law enforcement year to year. I don't think it's any mistake. It's the rhetoric that's coming from the left. They do not seem to have any like wherewithal, and they know what they're doing. It's coming from leaders. These are not like just random people. These are people who are in political office and they know better. And here is Jasmine Crockett, who always seems to say horrible things about law enforcement. And here's what she said. Get this. I believe this was just yesterday. And she referred to troops as slave patrols. Listen to this one.
I'll say it again. Donald Trump's mass deportation system makes me think of what a modern day slave patrol would look like. Slave patrols were armed groups empowered by the government to control, intimidate, and terrorize people solely based on color. That's what's happening now. Donald Trump is sending mass agents without warrants into communities of color to terrorize the people who live there. And the reason that I want to make sure that I draw out this link, because we heard Maxine say that black and brown is coming together.
Slave patrols, calling them slave patrols, Gestapo, all of this clearly, I believe, is playing a role, and they know it, and they haven't stopped. They started saying that, remember, about Elon Musk, and guess what happened? His Tesla dealerships were getting lit on fire and attacked. And here is James Comer, congressman, head of also the Oversight Committee, saying this rhetoric is clearly responsible.
The Democrats' rhetoric, that's what puts our National Guard troops who volunteer their time. I mean, they are part-time soldiers that believe in the cause. They work during the week. Usually their job requires weekends of being on the guard. They're there because they want to be there. They want to keep our capital city safe. So that type of rhetoric from the Democrats puts them in peril. But we do need more National Guard troops in Washington, D.C., Jason. You know, and Buddy Carter knows, how dangerous Washington, D.C. is. Now, one reason that there aren't more police officers in Washington, D.C., and we've heard this from the mayor and we've heard it from the police chief in Washington, D.C., is they have a recruitment and retention problem in Washington, D.C. The liberal Metro Council in Washington, D.C. has passed so many liberal criminal justice reform bills. They've passed legislation to limit a police officer's ability to defend himself. They have had anti-police officer rhetoric like we've seen from the Democrats on those clips that you showed. They wanted to defund the police. So the morale was so low in the Washington, D.C. Police force that many of the officers went to other cities to be police officers. They didn't want to be in Washington, D.C. So they have a problem getting the number of police officers that they need. And that's one reason I support what President Trump's doing. We need police protection in Washington, D.C. The city was unable to hire enough people, so the president had to act, and I support his decision.
And tonight, after this horrible shooting that took place in D.C., Pete Hegseth, of course, the Secretary of War, came out and said, we're not backing down. We're sending 500 more National Guards troops to the nation's capital. You are not intimidating us. We will stand strong for law and order. Bravo. That is the right decision. Never cower. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Pat in New Jersey on line 5. Go ahead, Pat.
Hi, Rita. Happy Thanksgiving. Rita, I hear the topic tonight and the appreciation, how people don't appreciate coming into this country. I used to be a frequent visitor to Washington, D.C. I loved it. And I remember a story I heard when I was inside the Capitol, and I just researched it because I couldn't remember the person's name. In appreciation for coming to this country and being allowed to come in, he was lying on his back for months painting I think it's called the Rotunda. He was a Greek-Italian immigrant named Constantino Brumidi.
Oh, beautiful. And he painted the Capitol Rotunda?
You know when you go inside?
Yes, I know exactly where it is. I used to work about a block away from there. I remember I was part of Fox News, and especially in the early days, and I was the senior correspondent for Fox in Washington. So spent a lot of time on the White House and Capitol Hill. I know exactly where that is. I didn't realize that. And what a beautiful story.
His appreciation, that's what he did for his appreciation to be allowed to stay in this country.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that's who we want in this country. That's a great example, Pat. Those who give back, those who appreciate. And you guys, I'm first generation American. My father's Polish, my mother's Danish. They came with $100 when they pulled into New York Harbor. But my dad kissed the ground when he came to America, and I think every day kissed the ground. And he was deeply grateful, as was my mother, to come to this incredible country called America. And they're great immigrants who make a difference, who want to do what my parents did, start from scratch and give back. And yet, when you hear this person who took advantage of this system, and what I'd like to know, has he been radicalized this whole time? He was apparently working with U.S. Special Forces over there in Afghanistan. So you have to wonder, was that all a decoy? Was he sort of working with the Taliban all along and was sort of a traitor living among us and then came to America? And it just makes you wonder how many. That's why you can't have open borders. You can't have unvetted. You want to be a welcoming country, but you don't want to be a bunch of suckers either. It's too dangerous. Let's go to Robert in Philly. Line 2. Robert, your thoughts tonight.
Hi, Rita. As always, it's lovely to talk to you, and I would like to do a quick rant, but I just wanted a second afterwards to make my wishes to the you and the audience. But I agree with Joaquin, and it's not just this incident, as horrible as it is. My heart is out to their family, right? But look at the total cost, Rita. Just think of the hundreds of thousands of Americans that have been harmed by a range of crimes, going anything from DUI to rape to murder to robbing houses. I mean, it's unbelievable the damage, and the Democrats don't care and act like we're the bad guys for kicking them out. That potato head, Joe Biden, was the worst thing that ever happened to this country, and that's not hyperbole. It makes me sick. However...
No, by the way, and I'll let you keep going, but Robert, I agree with you. It makes me absolutely sick because it doesn't take a rocket scientist. When you turn your back and say, come one, come all, and we're not going to vet you, there's no way they could. And what we've learned from President Trump, and it's something that you and I think all of us listening knew all along, you didn't need a new policy. You just needed a new president because Donald Trump shut the border down on day one, Robert.
And it was all just for political gain. They didn't care one whit what happened to this country as a result. They are utterly evil. And Joe Biden's gone, thank goodness, but his minions are still there and need to be fought, spotted, and voted out of office at every chance. But I'm done. And, Rita, this just in. A federal appeals court has just put a stay on Trump's pardon of the turkeys. They said that it wasn't in keeping with his authority under the Constitution. But that's how bad things are. But seriously, I hope your family...
By the way, was it Judge Boasberg? I'm kidding.
I wouldn't be surprised. But I hope you, your family, all the hosts, their families, and all the listeners out there have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Feast, family, football. Knock it out of the park. I'll see you afterwards, Rita.
Absolutely. I love that. And I'll add another F, faith, too. And boy, we need all of that now, and we need some fun too. We need another F too, because boy, life has been just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Robert, beautiful points. We love when you call in. You're terrific. Let's go to Eduardo in Tampa on line 5. Eduardo, your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you, Rita, for taking my call. Yeah, we definitely need to profile here in the future. And I got to relate 2 stories here. One in Chicago, 3 Venezuelan teenagers stabbed and robbed a homeless man. And in the suburb of Rome, a gang of 5 raped a 19-year-old, and they were North Africans. So you have to have border controls. I mean, you just can't let anybody come in. So we definitely got to profile. Doesn't matter where you are, you have to have control of your borders.
Yeah, 100%. And that's a great example. And you look at these other countries, like you just said, where crime is rampant. And listen, there are places in France, Eduardo, where essentially there are almost no-go zones where they've taken over. Like where the police are afraid to go in because they've been deemed as the outsiders. The minute you do that, you've lost your country. There's a couple places in France where they've done that, and they're paying a dear price. Look at all the attacks they've had. Look at all the things they've had. And it's really, really just epitome of an example of what not to do. And sadly, Eduardo, here we are. And as you just heard from Robert in Philly so aptly, Joe Biden let in, they believe, we don't even know, because there were so many, quote, gotaways. You don't know. All they see is like a little speck on the screen. So they have no idea how many people, and we've heard, President Trump say it's anywhere from 10 to 20 million. Even if it's 1%, 5% of them that wish us harm, that's an enormous amount of people that are here waiting for the right moment, Eduardo, like maybe this guy today. Eduardo, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, and it doesn't help that people like Don Lemon, say that, we got to take up arms against the camouflage. So ICE is going to be pretty busy in the year of 2026. So
yeah, and by the way, do me a favor, Eduardo, stick with us. I want to play that clip. This is cut number 11. This is Don Lemon, because you're right. It is just shocked that he's sort of sending this sort of buzz signal. Here it is.
Black people, brown people of all stripes, whether you're an Indian American or a Mexican American or whoever you are, go out in your place where you live and get a gun legally, get a license to carry legally. Because when you have people knocking on your door and taking you away without due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment was written for?
I mean, Eduardo, that's like if ICE comes to get a criminal migrant, even if he has a rap sheet a mile long, get ready and lock and load. I mean, that is a threat, Eduardo.
Yeah, we should not be fighting. We should not be divided among Americans. We should be together. Remember, like in World War II, we were all together.
Yeah, you're right. Good versus evil, 100%. It shouldn't matter party. The problem is, it seems like there's a lot of bad apples in the Democratic Party, and the rest of the Democrats aren't even condemning it. They're like kind of going along and allowing it. And that cannot be tolerated. There should be some sort of recourse. I'm a big free speech people, but after what we've all experienced today, you almost feel like, when you see a politician who says the kind of rhetoric that we've just played from a number of them, there should be maybe some censure or some sort of recourse, especially elected officials who are seen as, quote, leaders. That's dangerous. Eduardo, thank you very much, and have a good Thanksgiving with you and your family. Let's go to Dom in Minnesota. Dom, your thoughts tonight.
Yeah, Rita, there's only one thing I got to say to everybody listening to the show and to you. I hope to God Republicans get their message out so they don't lose the House in 2026 and the presidency in 2028. If they do that, we will surely have a Mamdani 2.0 in all the different places. That's what I'm scared of. These guys need to get on message and make sure they don't lose the House.
I agree. And you know where I thought you were headed, Dom? I think we're doomed. I'm telling you, if the Democrats come back and they go back to this open border policy, can you imagine if they come back to, because it seems like that's sort of the kind of politicians. I didn't see too many of them at all disputing having a problem with the wide open border. Most of them were, what wide open border, even though we saw the images. So anybody who would support wide open borders, after what we have experienced and saying local officials should resist federal authorities, they should never be elected officials. And sadly, the country's doomed. I hear what you're saying about I'm not a fan of the impeachment mania that we saw in phase 1. We don't want that back. But the last thing you want is, let's have another 20 million come on under the next. If that isn't reason to vote Republican, I don't know what is, Dom.
Yeah, not only that, you look at them celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk and the death of the two, soldiers in D.C., and this guy, whoever that guy is waving his walking stick, is just saying, I'm going to have to impeach Mr. Trump again.
Al Green, not to be confused with the singer.
Yeah, so I think we need to burn him for green energy. That's the problem I'm having with these people. This is going to be, we're going to have hell to pay if we don't, put them back in the House, at least keep the majority and then win again in 2028. I'm really scared that they don't do that. We've lost the country as we speak.
I agree, Dom. I sadly agree with you. And especially as I think we've hit some pretty dark places today. We don't want to see more of this. And good people need to stand up and say enough and not tolerate this kind of behavior, and also make sure that good people of all stripes and Democrats, people with good conscience, they need to start speaking out, because I'm hearing crickets tonight. I haven't heard, I think the only person I saw was Gavin Newsom, who of course is running for office. But other than him, I haven't seen anybody else sort of condemn this attack tonight. Shame on them. Dom, thank you very much. We're going to continue your calls, everybody, after the break. 1-800-848-9222. And first, support our heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment. And of course, tonight we are thinking of those two West Virginia National Guard members. They were shot near the White House and they are fighting for their lives tonight after being shot earlier today. We're, of course, talking about that, but thinking of them and their families so much. Here also is a powerful story from Lafayette, Indiana, where a Vietnam veteran, Bill Berry, was honored with a Hometown Hero Award. Just to give you a little background, he was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1966. He served 2 years in Vietnam. He was wounded by mortar fragments, and 1 month later, he received a large brown envelope at the post office where his father worked, and it contained his Purple Heart. He remembers telling his family not to worry. I told them not to tell my mom and dad that I was wounded. Of course, Dad and the postmaster opened the mail. And how beautiful to see Bill Berry honored now in such a beautiful, beautiful way. And everybody support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate just $11 a month to the incredible Tunnel to Towers Foundation. What a perfect way to celebrate the holiday season, to remember those, especially our great heroes. And they help our heroes and their families. Be sure to check them out at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I use Shipt same-day delivery to stay connected with my sister during the holidays. She lives across the country. Shipt has tons of stores to order from. Groceries from Albertsons, crafts from Michael's, even pet supplies from PetSmart. The list goes on. So when we have long-distance movie nights, I turn to Shipt to get face masks, snacks, and everything else we need delivered to her and to me same day. Download the app or visit Shipt.com. That's SHIPT.com.
What's going on? I'm Arch Manning, Viore athlete and college quarterback. Whether I'm running, training, traveling, or just unwinding at home, I love doing it in my core shorts from Viore. With a breathable boxer brief liner, they're quick to dry, super versatile, and stand up to even my most intense training sessions. Plus, they come in 3 inseams and a ton of colors. Ready to try a pair? Go to Viore.com/arch and get 20% off at checkout. I think you're going to love them as much as I do. That's VUORI.com/ARCH and get 20% off your first order. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Have a great day.
You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe, just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify, spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And as the clock is ticking to Thanksgiving, let's go to Judith in Brooklyn on line 5. Go ahead, Judith, your thoughts tonight.
You know, Rita, it boggles my mind with these delusional people like that woman from Portland, like they don't need anyone there. Meanwhile, you hear the name Portland, and you just associate it with burning and chaos and rioting. And you got Pritzker, this other guy, and this woman just was torched in Chicago. They're just delusional. They're evil. I mean, the only 2 Democrats that I know that are normal is Judge Weinberg and Senator Fetterman.
By the way, you left out former Governor David Patterson's also pretty good. I'll tell you, the vitriol is, I'll tell you, really dangerous from some of the far, far left. Not those guys, but far, far left. Everybody pray for America. Pray we come together. And I hope you all have a beautiful Thanksgiving. I love you all.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Kay Jewelers Black Friday sale is on. Now's the time to get up to 50% off Black Friday deals. With savings this big, you can get gifts for everyone on your list. Plus, if Black Friday lines aren't your thing, skip them. At Kay, you can buy online and pick up in store or get free shipping right to your home. This holiday season, unwrap love and savings with Kay. Exclusions apply. See K.com/exclusions for details.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.